And greetings, boys and girls of WyoNation. I am Chad Smith. We are here with another edition of the WyoNation Roundup, coming off a Wyoming football bye week, so we've all had to rest a little bit. And joining me tonight is Mr. Brad Reed. Good to see you, Brad. How you doing?
I'm back. I survived.
You survived the Midwest.
Survived the Midwest. People say it couldn't be done, but I did it.
Yes, you got to see not only Notre Dame, but also the monsters of the Midway. So quite a football travel for him, and maybe he'll tell a story or two at the end, if you're good.
Sure.
He says, sure. Clint's in the house. Thank you, Clint. Yes, we are back, as this weekend the Wyoming Cowboys will be hosting the San Diego State Aztecs in Laramie, 1:30 p.m. kickoff on CBS Sports. So, and the weather's looking good.
Yeah.
We're looking out with the weather again for 2 years in a row so far. So, should be a good crowd and what should be a very winnable game for Wyoming. Brad, let's get into some of the injury news first, and then we'll start talking about this matchup. Yes, the injury news. First of all, I mean, you and I have both been following this team for a good while. I don't think I've seen a season with so many damn injuries.
Yeah, they are really piled up this year. I mean, the team came into the season, I think, a little hurt, and it just, has continued on.
Yeah, it's gotten worse.
Yeah, it's gotten worse.
So here's
hard to believe it could have got worse, but then it did.
Here is the rundown as far as we know, and right, teams could always crop up because God knows what could happen as they're practicing this week. But Wyatt Eckler is still out. Caleb Driscoll is still out. Wes King and Jack Walsh are out. So that's two offensive linemen, including your best one in Walsh. Tice Westland is now out, who's been one of the few defensive linemen who's been playing well this year. So that's bad. Isaac White is still out. DJ Jones is still out with a personal issue, which is still rather odd that we don't know what's going on there. Hopefully,
a lot of elaboration on that.
Yeah, hopefully he and his family is okay. That's all we can say. And then now we have a new one. Ben Florentine, defensive tackle, is doubtful. But it doesn't sound like that's trending in the right direction as well. But they do have some good news. Two guys are coming back. Devon Harris is going to make his season debut. And then Andrew Johnson is back after breaking his thumb. So apparently he had a surgery in the bye week to put like a pin in his thumb.
What is it with broken thumbs? Like,
Wyatt Eckler has 2 of them. Yeah, Eckler's got 2 and Ant Johnson got 1. It's poor tackling, right?
Yeah,
it's diving.
Yeah. Just makes you wonder how a guy can manage to break both of his thumbs.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Eckler broke both his thumbs in the same game, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The guy's just like walking around. Like, can you imagine him on campus right now? He's probably just like walking around in like oven mitts, just like.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. How do you even do day-to-day life without the use of your thumbs? Try it, people. Right? Because that's like the thing. Having opposable thumbs is probably like the best thing we have as humans, right?
It ranks up there.
It's pretty high. You can't do a whole lot without it. I don't know. Yeah, we should ask. Someone needs to interview him. Like, what the heck are you? Hopefully he's got a girlfriend or something who's like feeding him. And
I mean, you could be like a crab and just like walk around like try to like use a fork or something.
Be like Zoidberg in Futurama.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have no idea about that reference, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, I'm sure some of you do out there. So thank you for tuning in. Of course, we are live on X right now on the WyoNation.com account, and we are on YouTube. You can send in your chants like our good friend Clint there with your questions and your comments as we talk about this game. And while you're on the YouTube channel, give some support to the only channel out there talking Wyoming sports. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe. A lot of you watch, but I think only like 20% of you subscribe. So you just as well subscribe because you'll get the rings, you'll get the notifications when we come online and all that good stuff. So, yeah, we'll be on tonight, of course, and then we will be doing, or I will, we'll see who joins me. We'll see who's around, but there will be a post-game show after the San Diego State game. So just that's your programming note for the week. Are the Grizz at home this week, Mr. Brad?
The Grizz are at home. They host Northern Arizona.
So you're unavailable, I'd imagine.
I will be unavailable and probably pretty angry by the time Saturday afternoon's over.
Okay. So. All right. Yeah, so that's the Wyoming's injury situation.
Bad.
They came off a bye week. I listened to a couple interviews this week. Keith Kelly in his show in Cheyenne talked to both Bowl and Jay Johnson, the offensive and defensive coordinators for Wyoming, and he didn't really learn much other than a bunch of coach speak. They focused on themselves. They're working on details. They're refocusing their efforts. They're trying to figure out what plays they can run the best for the right people. So
it's almost like going through Tinder. You're working on yourself. You're trying to figure out how to get better.
Yes, very much so. So that's where we're at with that. But as for me, I think during this bye week, Wyoming is 1-0 in conference play, and so is San Diego State. So it's a big game. Mm-hmm. Somebody's no longer going to be undefeated in conference play. But win or lose, we just need to see Wyoming playing clean football, right? So that means enough of these early game misusage of timeouts because we can't line up properly, right? That's got to be done with. This is game 6, right? Is this our halfway point?
Well, we're in week 6. Yeah,
it will be game 6.
Yep.
Right. So, and then other things, the snapping, right? The snapping had to get cleaned up. Now, Cody Tucker did talk to the offensive line coach, and they said that his problem, Tulafono's problem, is the grip. That when he's looking out at the defense to make his calls, that he's changing his grip for some reason. And when he snaps the ball, it's like God knows where it's going. So, again, I don't know if I buy that.
Say God knows where it's going has been a pretty accurate description of a lot of the snaps we've seen this season.
Yes.
Could be at your ankles, could be above your head. We don't know.
They say he doesn't have the yips or anything like that. It's just that he's bad technique. But it's very odd he's like a 5th-year senior too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a returning starter.
Yeah, so I don't know where that's going. But that needs to be cleaned up. And if he doesn't clean it up, then he needs to be sat down for a series or two because there has to be repercussions for simple stuff, right? The center has to be able to snap the ball. I think we can all agree.
Well, back to your metaphor a little bit ago about the thumbs being a very important part of our body. You could argue that having a clean snap to the quarterback functions much of the same way in that if you have a bad snap, you've thrown off the timing of your entire play, whether it be on your route trees or getting the ball to a running back to be able to hit a hole at a certain point in a block or any number of things. And so, having a snap that you got to, chase, jump above your head or reach down at your ankles and try to scoop it off the ground or whatever it may be, you could argue that the snap is probably the most important part of a play to be successful.
It's very true. Yes. Well said, Mr. Brad. No, you can't say it better than that. It's all about timing, right? And if you're running a timing offense, if your snap's off, everybody else is off. So, yeah, time for that to be clean. So I just want to see a clean football game. Let's just line up properly. Let's get the plays in on time. Let's snap the ball.
Penalties.
And then clean up the penalties. And they weren't too bad against Air Force. But the personal fouls and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Just be calm. Don't be stupid. And then the tackling. The tackling wasn't bad against Air Force, except for maybe in the first quarter. It was a little sloppy. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, those are the things that we've seen have been a problem in pretty much every game. Well, now's the time they need to stop. If not, because it's two things, right? They say in football, either the coaches are allowing it or they're coaching it. Can't be happening, these things. So let's play some clean football.
Yeah, I just went and took a quick look at the penalties nationally, and I think last time we talked about penalties, I think we were somewhere in the 80s, and now we're at 50 right now nationally, or 55 right now. So
that's dead middle, pretty much.
It's in the top third, but yeah, sure. We're I mean, if they can keep cleaning that up, that would go a long ways to not killing your own momentum.
Yeah. And they have a chance to build some momentum here. Start 2-0 in conference play. Let's see. How about some historic stuff here? Winspedia. Now, this is a very, very interesting matchup. Wyoming and San Diego State have played each other 38 times, and both schools have 19 wins, so it's dead even.
Wow.
Which I didn't know. No, the first game was in 1978, and the last game was in 2019. So they played 38 games during that span. San Diego State is on a 2-game winning streak, and this game, Brad, in Laramie, is the first time the Aztecs have come to Laramie since the Mountain West Championship game, where they defeated us 27-24.
That was going to be my nugget I threw out there, and you got to it first. But it's kind of hard to believe. And I saw somebody break it down the other day, and it was like the COVID year interrupted like a return trip to Laramie, and then the scheduling, when I got rid of the divisions, threw it for a loop, and then adding Washington State and Oregon State this year threw it for another loop. And it's been kind of a calamity of errors, but the Aztecs finally have to come back to Laramie, probably much to their chagrin.
Maybe for the last time.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I know. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, right?
Yep.
So they don't like it here, but we'll see. We're going to have to play one more time at least here in the Laramie.
Make it a miserable trip for him.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if somebody wants to find out where they're sleeping, where their hotel is, maybe do the thing where you honk horns all night, just drive around their hotel honking horns.
Fire alarm trick.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Listen, we're not in high school anymore. We don't condone that.
No, we don't. But we would laugh if it did happen.
Oh, I would.
Yes. So that's Winspedia. So very interesting. So this could be a tiebreaker game in the series. And then let's show up some odds here. Here is your matchup. And I haven't even looked at this. I'm kind of surprised that Wyoming is the underdog at home. I found that surprising.
Looks like they're expecting a close game.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it looks close there.
We'd be foolish not to say that we expect the same. So,
yep. And then when you go to the matchup here,
boy, that top line in your stat, you're in your that top line right there, points scored average. That's that's some poorly played football.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. This is what I want to focus on. This is the first time that the computer is picking Wyoming to lose. The OddsShark computers had Wyoming winning every game so far, which is kind of funny. But today they got us losing by about 10 with their computer matchup. Yeah, and I wanted to look at this.
Do you smash the under right there?
What is the over under again? 42?
42 in the book.
I don't know. Yeah. That was going to be my magic number when we looked at this stuff. So here, we can get to it. If you match the offenses up, right? Both two low-scoring offenses.
Hideous.
But this has got a kind of cool thing. You can go, hey, what's their offense like on the road? 15.5. Well, what's Wyoming's defense like? Oh, they just reset on me.
For God's sakes, Chad.
What did it do? Defense at home. Really not much better, right?
No.
We're allowing 23. They're scoring about 19. So I think it is going to be a close game. And I don't know if Wyoming can score in the mid-20s to win this game against these guys.
I would love to see Stanford Steve try to cover this game on bad beats. The under was 42.5.
Yeah. There's a lot of scenarios there, isn't there?
Yep.
For a line like that, for something ridiculous. Like, for example, a bad snap. Like Wyoming's in field goal range and they snap their way out of field goal range, and then the over-under loses and they lose, and it's just we could be seeing some Sports Center stuff with that, right?
A while back the coaches all were wearing those hats that said "Run the damn ball." Maybe it needs to be "Snap the damn ball."
Let's see here. So, yeah, if you want to compare these offenses some more, pretty similar. They score a little more than us. They get more yards than we do. Time of possession is about the same. Plays are about the same. They average a yard more per play than us. But I really want to focus on the defense. They're allowing 182 yards a game. So this is another game where Wyoming, right, needs to get right with the run game. And they did against Air Force, and it's the main reason they won the game. So the opportunities are going to be there to run the ball against this San Diego State Aztec defense.
Just need to capitalize on it.
So we can get rid of that there. I've got some more stats we could talk about. And then defensively for Wyoming, seems like the main threat for San Diego State is going to come from their running game as well. Mm-hmm. They have the number 2 leading rusher in the conference by the name of Marquez Cooper, who's got 583 yards and 5 touchdowns on the season. He's had back-to-back 100-yard games against Central Michigan and Hawaii, scoring a touchdown against Central Michigan and 2 touchdowns last week against Hawaii.
He's only 500 yards behind Ashton Jainty.
That's true. I know, yeah. It's funny when you look at the conference. He's the second leading rusher in the league, and he's 500 yards behind.
Yeah. Well, nationally, Cooper's Jainty's obviously number 1 in the country in rushing yards. Yeah. Cooper's number 11. So he's no slouch nationally as far as, being a rusher goes.
Oh, it's pretty wild, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, pretty wild. And then I haven't looked at this yet, but I wanted to. From what I've been told, San Diego State has used 3 different quarterbacks this season so far. So let me look up this 3-headed monster.
One of them was a punt. Like the punter was one of the 3.
Oh, okay.
Like he threw 1 pass for 10 yards.
He doesn't count then, no.
So, and without looking so they've used their freshman Danny O'Neill. Then they had their other freshman come in, Javance Johnson. But it looks like Johnson came in relief somehow, like injury or something. I don't know.
Yeah, let's look at his game log here. Game log says he came in the California game that they lost 31-10.
Yeah, so maybe just pulling O'Neill out of there. Or
something. Yeah, so I would expect that you're right. That Danny O'Neill, the freshman quarterback, they're both freshmen actually, is who will be facing. He's got pretty decent numbers, 62%, 791 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Yeah, he's played really well this year. Not a big guy. He's like one of the few guys not from California on their team.
Let's see. Can he run a little bit? No. 23 rushes, 16 yards.
He runs backwards.
Yes, so doesn't look like he's a dual threat type of guy. Where's he from? He's not from California?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Oh, that is a weird one, huh?
Yeah, not even a transfer.
Make your way out of high school from Indy to San Diego, probably for the weather.
Pretty good trade up, I'd say.
Yeah, it is a good trade up, huh? Oh, boy. All right. Yeah, what other things stand out to you here, if anything?
I don't know. I mean, you look at San Diego State, and I don't know. They've been on kind of a crash course, much like Wyoming has. It's not, the Aztec teams of old.
No.
That were very, very heavy in talent. And they have a new coach this year, Sean Lewis.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. I forgot he was there.
Yeah,
he was at Kent State.
Cast off. What?
He was the head coach at Kent State?
He was at Kent State, then went to Colorado to be Dion's offensive coordinator, then got scapegoated after 2 or 3 games.
Mm-hmm. And he at Kent State, man, they had quite the offense.
Yeah.
And it really, seems like they're not using that system at San Diego State, obviously, because they're running the ball quite a bit.
Well, I think he's going to have a little bit of a transition period there where, you got to get the talent to run, kind of that Kent State offense.
Do you think that's his goal?
I don't know. I would hope so. I mean, the talent pool in California certainly lends itself to
run that
being able to recruit the kinds of players that, for that offense that they ran at Kent State.
Yeah.
So, probably like everything else, it takes time. It doesn't happen in one recruiting class. And by the looks of it, they don't have a ton. They got quite a few transfers on their team. Not a ton, though.
Yeah.
Guys from a lot of like junior colleges. So, yeah, I don't know. It's probably like anything else, takes time. I did see that he brought another scapegoated coach from Colorado with him. Their running back coach, Darian Hagan.
Oh, Hagen's there. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was on Dion's staff with Sean Lewis.
Yeah. Well, Hagen's been at Colorado for
ever.
A lot of staff. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was at San Diego State. Very interesting.
He was the guy that just kind of hung around forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think Sean Lewis is a pretty good coach. He did, if you can win at Kent State and produce the kind of offense he did,
yeah,
you can't imagine with better resources and better access to talent in California that he wouldn't be able to be successful at some point. So
sure,
maybe we're catching San Diego State on the right year, to break that 2-game losing streak, but. I don't know. Just looked at their schedule. They started off the year with Texas A&M Commerce. Like Texas A&M Commerce literally renamed their school this week.
Oh, did they?
They're like East Texas A&M now.
Okay.
I saw something about that. I was like, wow, that's kind of weird.
Okay, I'll have to look that up. I haven't seen that. Very interesting. Yes.
Yeah, but got shut out against Oregon State. Lost to Cal, and Cal's a pretty good team this year. Lost to Central Michigan. That's kind of a weird one. Then beat Hawaii by 3 somehow.
Yeah, they were down by I think 2 touchdowns at one point at home to Hawaii. Mm-hmm. So again, not a very good team.
Tens of fans at Snapdragon Stadium.
Not a very good team. So this is one of the few winnable games left on Wyoming's schedule. Or I'll say not win, very winnable. How about that? Oh, I'll upgrade it to that category. They're not much better than Air Force. But the problem is we're not much better than them, I don't think. But being at home should help. But, yeah, this is going to be an ugly game, I think, to where if either team could score 24 points, I think that's enough to win this game.
That might be the magic number.
Yeah. But I don't know. Wyoming's defense, I'm still not bought into them with the way they played. So we'll see this, right? I mean, San Diego State's coach could have a nice game plan for us here. And competitive. Oh, I like that, Clint. Yeah. How about a competitive game? It's a game where Wyoming can be competitive and possibly win, sure.
It's all we ask for.
Yeah. And again, right, and this is why we're talking about the things, the snaps and the penalties. In a close game like this, one of those could lose you the game. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be very vital for Wyoming to play clean football and hopefully build off of that second half against Air Force. So let's talk about the offense. I don't know if you caught much of the highlights or anything.
Let's see. I watched part of the game from a Buffalo Wild Wings in Elkhart, Indiana, and then went back to my hotel, fired up my iPad, and watched the rest of it there.
Okay. So you did see. So right in the second half, they obviously made some changes. So if you watch the post-game show, I do believe Brian did it with me, and he caught on to this. And I did too. I knew there was a change, but he laid it out. It was basically they were giving Svoboda 2 reads within the same eye path, right? Because the problem he has is if his first read's not open, it's just like panic stations. So what they did is they got him moving to one side of the field and had a route, like a deep route and a short route that he can just take his pick on whoever's open. So, again, that's very simplistic. It can work. Mm-hmm. But we'll see. It's on tape now. So we'll see if San Diego State can battle that, and we'll see if we stick with it. We should, because it's the best we've looked all year. You got to give him multiple options within the same view because he's just not – as of right now, he's not capable of scanning the full field.
Well, and, good coaches will put their players in the best position possible to succeed. And if that's currently the best position to let Evan succeed, then, so be it.
Hopefully they stick with that, right? one would think. So we'll see. That's my biggest question is, are they going to stick down that path where we played one of our best halves of offensive football? Or are they going to just try to fit that, that round peg into a square hole?
We can hope it's not the latter, but that would be demonstrating competence. So,
yeah, we'll see. So that's my big question. So let's see what they do, what the Wyoming coaches do heading out of this bye week. It has another one. He has 2 reads. This is full on Sean Chambers. Read or run?
Yeah, Chambers
Maybe
was really
a little bit
fast,
of that.
though. For all Chambers throws into the stands or at the coach's feet, he was a very good runner.
For sure. And it got him injured many times.
Oof.
Right. And that's right. What could happen to Svoboda too. So I think that's why they might limit the runs, but they've been using them a lot because they had to. Yep. Especially in the Air Force game. They were using them like pretty much every 3rd and short. It was just quarterback keeper. So I don't know. That's just playing the fire too.
Just the old Jalen Hurts push and get him going.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. I think that's about really it there is to talk about. I mean, this is just type of the game. It's not really much about San Diego State, in my opinion. They're going to present their challenges, but this is more about Wyoming just playing clean, competitive football and showing improvement off all the inefficiencies we've seen through the first 5 games. And if this coaching staff is as good as they think they are, as they say they are, well, we need to see those changes permanently here. And we need to see some good showing. And if we play clean football and we lose, so beat it. But that's my concern is I don't know if this staff is capable in the way they're currently constructed to play clean football.
Yeah, there's just playing a clean football game would show progress, right? Like just all right, we took the bye week, we looked at ourselves, we learned, progress. That's, basically what everybody's just wanting and asking for. Not these dumb things that just kill us.
Mm-hmm.
I did just take a look at the Sagarin rankings.
Yeah. What do those look like?
People that look at Sagarin. San Diego State's at 116 and Wyoming is at 121.
Okay.
With Hawaii right in the middle at 118.
Okay. And what are the ratings? Like the raw rating score?
Raw rating, San Diego State's 59.66 and Wyoming is 59.06.
Okay. So according to Sagarin, Wyoming should be a 3-point favorite. So that's why I like his system is because you take the difference between the raw scores and it gives you his spread.
Yeah, and I was just going to look that up actually.
So, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan of his stuff. It's good as just like a benchmark to kind of just check things.
I think it's extremely interesting to look at for sure.
And he tosses in FCS schools in there too.
Oh yeah,
which is also very nice.
Geez. Yeah, so Sagarin has San Diego State as the underdog.
Mm-hmm.
So different than what Vegas has. So interesting, but we'll take it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's about all I had for this week. We'll see what happens. That's all I can say, really.
Make progress, please.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the game. I'm sure a lot of you are looking forward for another nice fall afternoon in Laramie.
Yeah. I saw we got our broadcast team announced already for the game.
Oh, yeah. There's some new people. You can go ahead and
it's on CBS Sports Network this week. I was just looking to see if it was in the press release for the game, and I don't see it yet. But I'm sure it's there somewhere.
It's on the left, usually, like in a...
Yeah, it's usually in one of the little boxes.
In the boxes, yeah. I know it's a guy who's never been there because he tweeted about it.
Yeah, he did. And I did see just a random nugget out of the press release this week that there's a good possibility that John Hoyland could move into number 2 in the all-time leading Cowboy scorers.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty
He's
big.
only 6 points behind Sean Fleming.
Okay, he's going to pass Fleming.
Yep.
Wow.
He's got some work to do if he wants to pass Cooper Roth, but yeah, he should pass Sean Fleming pretty easily this year.
In the next couple games
to move into
Cool.
number 2. So,
all right, Red Shoe Man.
Red Shoe Man.
Moving up those rankings.
Figurative, not literal.
Yes. All right. Well, do you have any, as we close, any tips for people if they go to Notre Dame? Any things they should check out? Should they go to Notre Dame? I don't know. Is that what you want to do? Give a tip? A scouting report? South Bend,
I would say
Indiana?
that if you want to go to Notre Dame, make sure to do your tailgating because you will be in for a pretty sober rest of your day. Walk around the campus, or I guess like all the sporting arenas are kind of in the same part of campus. So you got like the football stadium, the football practice facilities, the basketball arena, the hockey arena, the softball, soccer, all that stuff's kind of in the same area of the campus. And that's the only part of campus we looked at.
Mm-hmm.
But the cathedral, the grotto, the Golden Dome are all in the same part of campus too. So you can wrap those up, kind of all in the same walk. And it's super cool to like walk around and just see the history of Notre Dame. Like they've got like, a Newt Rockne statue outside. They've got, the Four Horsemen statue out there. They've got just all sorts of, cool stuff like that. Going into the cathedral was pretty sweet. Just because it's a very big and very historic cathedral. And we happened to go in there at the same time the team was doing mass. So part of it was closed off for the team to do their thing. Then, but yeah, the grotto, is whatever. And the grotto is right next to the little lake thing where they filmed part of Rudy. So that's over there. Obviously, Touchdown Jesus, kind of in that same area. So, got to get your picture with Touchdown Jesus. But yeah, it's a very different experience. Notre Dame, for lack of a better term, Notre Dame just has fuck you money. It'll be money that schools like Wyoming will never experience. They have an indoor practice facility that is bigger than the IPF in Laramie and probably much nicer. And next to that, they have a football sports building that's really good sized. And in between those two buildings, they are building another $350 million football facility in between them.
Jeez.
And then behind that, they've got 2 full-size outdoor practice fields for when they don't want to be inside. Plus, the stadium. And I guess the takeaway from the stadium is the best part about the stadium, and just from a fan's perspective, is there's no advertising.
Really? Okay.
Any home game, and you're just home game for in Laramie, or if you're in Missoula or whatever.
Yeah,
you're just inundated with ads all game long.
Yeah.
Some jewelry store, some car dealership, some bank, some this, some that. Every ribbon board, every wall surrounding, everything is just an advertisement.
Every kickoff, every timeout.
Every kickoff, something is sponsored by something.
Yes.
There is none of that in Notre Dame, and it rocked. It's like my ears are not bombarded by commercials all day long, and it's awesome.
I think that's a nice little tidbit. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of sweet. And, we had a couple of my buddies' wives with us too. And for them, the best part of the game day experience was the line to get into the men's room was about 200 people deep. The line to get into the women's room was non-existent. So for them, it was a trip of a lifetime because they didn't have to wait outside the whole, that whole time, like at most stadiums. Yeah, I would say it's probably worth seeing once, but you're there for the history and not so much like an LSU type of experience where the crowd is just completely insane and the tailgating is completely insane. So, but luckily we bookended Notre Dame with a trip to Wrigley Field to see the Cubs, and Sunday, at Soldier Field to see the Bears. So we, as a group that travels to these games, it's been kind of sweet that, last year we were at LSU and saw the Heisman Trophy winner. And then this year we were at Soldier Field and saw the number 1 overall draft pick. So that was pretty sweet.
All right. Well, there we go.
But yeah, there's your review of Notre Dame. We're already
very good. Thank you
for next year.
Yeah, next year you'll have a whole new scouting report for us of somewhere out in the yonder.
My pick right now is either the Rose Bowl, Madison, or Army. Do the Army Buffalo trip.
There you go. Yeah, it's not a bad idea, is it?
Just go catch the Bills before they completely implode and Josh is stuck with a team full of rookies and has-beens. So
sounds like a good plan, I think.
Yeah.
So
our Broncos had a win last weekend, so
it did.
Congrats to us.
Mm-hmm.
As a Broncos podcast as well.
Yeah, we could be. Probably not. There's enough of those. God knows, right?
Listen, we don't have Ben Albright's credentials, but we could still do it.
True. It's true. We could make up stories too, just like him.
Yep.
All right, boys and girls. Well, thank you for joining us. We'll see what happens in Laramie. I will be joining you with a post-game show, breaking it all down. Should be a lot of fun. And then we'll be back sometime the next week after to preview. Heck, I don't even know, who do we even play the week after next? I should know this. Is it San Jose State? That's what I think it is.
It is San Jose State on the road.
Yep, at San Jose. So, yeah, so we'll do a post game, and then next week we'll probably look a little back at San Diego State and look forward to San Jose State. So it should be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again. For Brad Reed, I'm Chad Smith. Thank you for tuning in to the WyoNation Roundup.